Hi, it's Gina here from Will Written, putting your affairs in order and banishing all your worries about inheritance and later life using my faithful tools of wills, trusts and powers of attorney. I'd like to talk to you today about an article that I read recently that absolutely made my blood run cold. It was a gentleman who had inherited quite a substantial sum of money, more than £100,000 in fact, from a relative. And when the estate was ready to be distributed, he gave his bank details to the solicitor that was handling the estate. All seemed very well, the transfer went through, and then the money wasn't there. And it very quickly emerged to everyone's horror that the bank details were one digit out. The account number was absolutely spot on, but the sort code was one digit out. So what happened was that this six-figure sum of money had been transferred to another customer in the same bank as him, who, in a different branch obviously, who had exactly the same account number, which is scary in itself. So at the somewhat panicked urging of this gentleman and presumably the solicitors involved, Barclays, who were the bank, got in touch with this other customer and asked for that customer's permission to transfer the money back. And the customer said no. Oh my God. And then he started spending the money. Oh. And the bank said, well, there's nothing we can do about this. It's your error. I'm sorry. Tough. So the solicitors for the estate swung into action to rectify this problem. So what they did was they applied for a freezing injunction to have that other customer's bank account frozen so that he couldn't carry on spending that money. And then meanwhile, they got on with court proceedings with a view to recover the money. So eventually the money was recovered, but it cost something like £30,000 in legal fees for that to happen, which is a substantial sum of money. And of course, this other customer didn't have the funds to repay this gentleman's legal expenses, so he was out of pocket and there was no recourse available to him. Now, what he did, fairly savvy, he went to a national newspaper, complained about it. The national newspaper made a gigantic stink, and the bank in question actually did make a reimbursement in full of those legal fees that this gentleman had incurred. So all turned out well in the end, but oh my goodness, can you imagine the absolute fear and anxiety that that guy and his legal team and everything had gone through when they realised that this had happened. Would keep me awake at night, that very thought. Now, just in case this would ever happen to you, there's just a very sensible thing that you can do. If ever you are expecting a sum of money from a solicitor or anything like that and you're wanting money to be transferred, don't just send an email or tell that person over the phone what your bank details are. Snap an image of your debit card, because that's got your sort code and your account number on it, and then email that to the solicitor involved, That solicitor will then have a clear record of exactly what your sort code and account number is, and then once it's all being dealt with and the transfer's been done, they will delete that out of confidentiality. That's what we do at ACSL, the law firm where I'm a consultant, so it's a very obvious safeguard. So just be aware of that, because I was quite surprised that this wasn't something that was happening as a matter of routine, and really quite surprised that this gentleman had this problem in the first place, because it wouldn't have occurred had that simple expedient been used, So anyway, just a little tip, a learning point from that particular horror story that I heard. So I hope you found that useful, and I'll see you again soon. Take care now. Bye.